Hello, Windows Analysis. We explore the Windows universe, performance, hidden settings, history, hacks, and updates. If you like understanding your system, stay tuned. So today, we're going to dive into something that causes, well, a ton of confusion in the Windows world, the command line. I'm pretty sure this has happened to you. You go to your Start menu, you type Command, and bam, 3 different options pop up. You've got Command Prompt, PowerShell, and now this thing called Windows Terminal. And at first glance, they all kind of look the same, right? Just a black screen with some text. But that could not be further from the truth. So the big question is, what is each one for? And probably more importantly, which one should you actually be using? Let's solve this mystery once and for all. All right, to really get what's going on here, we have to start at the very beginning. We need to take a quick trip back in time, back to the foundations of it all, to the era of the legendary MS-DOS. So way back in 1981, MS-DOS laid all the groundwork. Then, when Windows NT came along with its, modern architecture, Microsoft had this huge problem. How do we create something new without completely breaking everything that came before it? And out of that means CMD.exe was born. See, its main job wasn't to be some shiny, revolutionary new thing. It was all about making sure that the millions of scripts and programs built for MS-DOS would just keep working. And this visual really hits the nail on the head. CMD's main goal was literally one thing: compatibility. Compatibility and more compatibility. It was designed from the ground up to keep old business applications from crashing. But this obsession with the past really tied its hands. I mean, for simple little tasks, CMD was fine. But for managing the complex systems we have today, it just wasn't cutting it. Something more was needed. And that something more? Oh, it definitely arrived. Let's jump forward and see how things evolved into the modern era with PowerShell, which was just a massive, massive shift in thinking. Okay, this right here is the fundamental difference. CMD thinks in text. You ask it for a list of processes, and it just spits back a big wall of plain text. If you want to know how much memory one specific process is using, well, you've got to manually read through all that text and figure it out. PowerShell, on the other hand, it's built on the .NET framework, and it thinks in objects. It gives you back a list of process objects, and each one has these neatly organized properties like name, ID, memory usage. Everything's right there for you. I love this analogy. It's just perfect. Asking CMD for data is like getting a blurry photo of a spreadsheet. Yeah, you can see the data, but you can't really do anything with it. But asking PowerShell, that's like getting the entire Excel file. You can sort it, you can filter it, you can manipulate everything so easily. I mean, it's not even a fair fight, is it? And now we get to the big reveal. The one piece of the puzzle that makes everything else just click into place, and that so many people don't know about. We've talked about CMD and PowerShell, which are kind of like the brains. But where does terminal fit into this story? Well, the answer is in understanding the difference between the brain and the window we use to see what it's thinking. So let's start with the shell. Think of the shell as the brain. It's the program that's actually doing the work, right? It's the interpreter that reads what you type, understands the commands, and makes stuff happen. So CMD is a shell, PowerShell is a much, much smarter shell, and Bash, which you use in Linux, is another shell. They're the engines. Okay, so if the shell is the brain, then what's the terminal? It's just the window. That's it. It's the storefront, the user interface that lets us see what the brain is doing and lets us talk to it. The terminal itself doesn't execute anything. It just displays the text from the shell and sends your keyboard input to it. And for decades, the window that Windows gave us was, well, let's just say it was pretty bad. And that, my friends, was the massive problem. We had these increasingly powerful brains, like PowerShell, but they were all forced to live inside this very old, crumbling house. That house was called conhost.exe, the classic Windows console, and it was the real bottleneck holding the entire system back. I mean, seriously, the old console was a mess. It was incredibly slow because it rendered all the text using the CPU instead of the GPU. You want to use emojis or special characters? Total nightmare. Trying to customize your colors or fonts, basically impossible. And tabs? Forget about it. That was pure science fiction. If you needed 3 consoles, you got 3 separate windows cluttering up your entire desktop. It was a museum piece, really. Of course, Microsoft knew this was a huge limitation. I mean, the developer community had been begging for a fix for years, and the solution wasn't to invent another brain. Nope. The solution was to tear down that old, rickety house and build a beautiful, modern mansion for all the brains that already existed. In that mansion is Windows Terminal. So let's be crystal clear. Windows Terminal is not another shell. It is the modern host application that can house all the others: CMD, PowerShell, even Linux shells through WSL, all under one amazing roof. And wow, the change is just night and day. Text rendering is now lightning fast because it's GPU accelerated. We finally have full support for any character or emoji you can think of. We have tabs, split screen panes, and absolutely insane customization with themes, background images, and transparency. And this stuff changes everything in your day-to-day workflow. Something as simple as giving each tab its own name and color is a total game changer. Let's say you have a connection to a production server. Make that tab bright red so you don't accidentally mess something up. Your local machine, keep it blue. It sounds trivial, but trust me, it can save you from a major disaster. And then you have split panes, which are just incredible for multitasking. You can have PowerShell monitoring a process on one side, an Ubuntu console compiling code on the other, and a CMD window running pings at the bottom, all visible at the same time. And then there's Quake mode, which this might just be the best feature of all. With a simple keyboard shortcut, boom, the terminal just drops down from the top of your screen. You use it, you hit the shortcut again, and it vanishes. For anyone who uses the command line all the time, this is absolutely a life-changing feature. But Windows Terminal isn't just about fixing the past. It's really a platform for the future. I mean, take its seamless integration with the Windows subsystem for Linux, or WSL. Terminal automatically finds your installed Linux distros and creates profiles for them. So you can be writing a PowerShell script in one tab and right next to it, compiling a project in a real Ubuntu environment. That's a workflow that would have seemed like science fiction on Windows just a few years ago. And the next big thing is already here. AI tools like GitHub Copilot are turning your terminal into the super intelligent assistant. So let's just quickly recap our mental map here. CMD is the grandfather, right? The old shell we keep around for compatibility. PowerShell is the modern, super powerful engine for managing, well, everything. And Windows Terminal is the house of the future, the fast, beautiful, modern home where they can all live together. So the real question you have to ask yourself is, now that you know all this, are you using the right tool for the job? And that's it for today's analysis. If you liked it, subscribe, leave a like, and a comment. Enjoy tinkering, and see you in the next Windows analysis video.